Raquel, I think you're swell, my sweet inflatable. You never say no, or come and go. You're always faithful and true. Fantastic dream, elastic and cream, plastic and steam, spastic supreme, Brandy Raquel.
you are friends, and then you're not friends, and friendship has passed. Whole days are lost, and among them a fountain empties itself. And sometimes it happens that you are loved, and then you're not loved, and love is past. The whole days are lost, and among them a fountain empties itself into the grass. Sometimes you want to speak to him, and then you do not want to speak. Then the opportunity is past. Your dreams flare up, they suddenly vanish. Sometimes it happens, there is nowhere to go, and then there is somewhere to go. Then you have bypassed. The years flare up and are gone quicker than a minute. So you have nothing, and you wonder if these things matter, and then they cease to matter. And caring is past, and a fountain empties itself into the grass. Sometimes it happens, there is nowhere to go, and then there is somewhere to go.
Read a thing in the papers this morning and spoke of a political threat, but they're not scaring me. Up here in my tree, I'm alive and I have no regrets. I got the word about mass conscription, it gave me such a terrible fright, but they're not finding me. Up here in my tree, and my pa says I wasn't to fight. Up here in my treehouse, I sway with the wind, with the tree all around me. And if anyone thinks that I'm fooling myself, look around at the people around you, they're making such a terrible mess, but they're not hurting me. Up here in my tree, left behind, but I have no regrets. Up here in my treehouse, I sway with the wind, with the tree all around me, yeah. And if anyone thinks that I'm fooling myself, read a thing in the papers this morning, a man was given life for a crime, but there's no jailing me. Up here in my tree, I am free, and the world is all mine. Got to think about catching pneumonia and maybe even dying one day, but as long as I'm free, I'll die in my tree. I will die, then I'll just fly away. Up here in my treehouse, I'll sway with the wind.
shuffled away, looking the other way. Ronnie the raincoat hangs out in a bookstore. He's never seen his own wife in the nude. Somebody called him depraved, but think of the money he saved. Dwarf on a moped speeds through the park to Gilroy's Renaissance Temple of Art. Signs with a flourish and makes it his own. Pockets his pencil and slyly writes home. Annual cultural African dances bereft Isabella in rubber thigh boots. A man was arrested today for something he put on display. Make it easy, baby. Don't you know I want you for myself? What's the use in maybe when the word I want to hear is now? I always carry the load. I'll have you know this is not a joke for you to love. So don't be so damn. Drive me crazy. Fill me up and slowing down. No gas. Every day I'm bleeding. Won't you help me off the ground? I'm down. I've got you under my skin. So won't you let me get in with you tonight? The feeling's right. Tell me, I'm feeling down.
French Grand Prix. He turned and he smiled at me. That's when I fell for Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, rolling along on your riding machine. Mr. Sheen's riding machine, it's certainly the biggest one that I've ever seen. A girl up in the stands was shouting out, I can see. It's big and red and throbbing and 500cc. Yes, it's Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen. It's Mr. Sheen's riding machine. Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, bowling along on your shiny machine. I can't understand why the girls are so keen to try and get a ride on your vibrating machine. His Japanese mechanics keep it greased up as well. They even douse his body in a Fabergé smell, because it's Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen's riding machine. My friend Arthur, whose machine has been banned. Just one rally a year, and that one started by hand. Because he's Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen's riding machine. Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, always keeps his lovely engine ever so clean. Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, he's got a little medal for it from the Queen. Dressed up in his leathers, he looks just like a toff. But you should see the way he smiles when he comes off. Because he's Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen, Mr. Sheen's riding machine. It's Mr. Sheen's riding machine. It's Mr. Sheen's riding machine. That's all.
Once we had a donkey, we kept it in the yard. One day in the winter, it was snowing hard. Mother said the donkey must be cold in the yard. Bring him in the kitchen and let him have a warm. In came the donkey, bit me father's ear. Took it for a cabbage leaf and broke the chandelier. Out went the gas, and then it came alight again. Poor father's head, the donkey took a bite again. Mother took a knife and thought to stick it in the ass. Stuck it in me father's head and out went the gas. Ain't you mad you can't get at it? Mother sewn me drawers up.
And the sky stands to attention, waiting for the sign. And the moon calls to her warriors, and the warriors fall in line. And the sky and the moon and the warriors move slowly into battle. 'Tis us you hear when the breathing fails and the heart begins to rattle. And the worst is yet to come. The worst is yet to come. Yes, the worst is yet to come.
Famine, fire, fever, civil war and hate. The people scream for mercy, but their screaming comes too late. Disease blows up its corpses, the air is dank and stale. Army belly goes our bellies, salmon, shark and whale.
There is thunder underground and the sun goes round and round. There is thunder underground and the sun goes round and round. There is thunder underground and the sun goes round and round. And the worst is yet to come. The worst is yet to come. The worst is yet to come. And the worst is yet to come. But the goody good times outnumber the bad times. Everybody knows. So today we'll laugh and be happy. Tip tippy tip tappy, and chase all the blues away. Perseverance, we'll chase all the blues away. That's jazz. And the sky stands to attention, waiting for the sign. And the moon calls to her warriors, and the warriors fall in line. And the sky and the moon and the warriors move slowly into battle. 'Tis us you hear when the breathing fails and the heart begins to rattle. And the worst is yet to come. The worst is yet to come. Yes, the worst is yet to come.
Famine, fire, fever, civil war and hate.
everybody knows. So today we'll laugh and be happy. Tip, tippy, tip, tappy, and chase all the blues away. Perseverance, we'll chase all the blues away. That's jazz.
I got my hand up the skirt of Mother Nature, got my foot in the door of liberty, got my head stuck in the railings of reason. Thank God for the banjo on my knee. Crystal balls to fortune tellers reveal a swarm of what will be. All in all, like clocks and watches, we got time on our hands and destinies. I've heard the squeal of tires around a corner. I've broken down and I've been told I've seen everything I ever hoped and dreamed for, squashed like a hedgehog in the road. Crystal balls to fortune tellers reveal a swarm of what will be. All in all, like clocks and watches, we got time on our hands and destinies. Just give me wide open spaces and clean living, as long as I've a banjo to pluck. I'll sing to the cactus and coyotes, hibbity-hi, hibbity-ho, que-sera. Said crystal balls to fortune tellers reveal a swarm of what will be. All in all, like clocks and watches, we got time on our hands and destinies. Crystal balls, fortune tellers, reveal a swarm of what will be. All in all, like clocks and watches, we got time on our hands and destinies.
Let's face it, like it or not, each and every one of us should be as important as each other in a democracy. Even those who are helpless through no fault of their own, no serene. Treat them well, they are our children, and they rely on us totally. In a democracy, in a democracy, oh yeah, we all have our crosses to bear. let's face it, like it or not, each and every one of us should be as important as each other in a democracy. Even those who are no good at anything, no siree. Just remember, they are our leaders, and we vote for them foolishly. In a democracy, in a democracy, oh yeah, we all have our crosses to bear. In a democracy, oh yeah, we all have our crosses to bear. We all have our crosses to bear.
His horse across the Badlands. He tipped his head against the sun. He drank his whiskey from the bottle. He was the Lord, and he wore a gun. He wore a gun, yes, he wore a gun. He wore a gun, like a gunman should. Like a gunman wears a gun, he wore a gun. And people stepped aside because he was no good. 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 Because of bad luck, he never knew a mother's love. He was like a wolf in sheep's clothing, or an iron hand in a velvet glove. And he wore a gun, yes, he wore a gun. He wore a gun, like a gunman should. Like a gunman wears a gun, he wore a gun. And people stepped aside because he was no good. 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 His eyes were cruel and his lips were mean. His nose was twisted and he could waggle his ears. And he behaved extremely badly when he had a few beers. And he wore a gun, yes, he wore a gun. He wore a gun, like a gunman should. Like a gunman wears a gun, he wore a gun, and people stepped aside because he was no good. He was no good. He was no good. He was no good. He rode his horse across the badlands, and he was no good. 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 He was no good.
Once we had a donkey, we kept it in the yard. One day in the winter, it was snowing hard. Mother said the donkey must be cold in the yard. Bring him in the kitchen and let him have a warm. In came the donkey, bit me father's ear. Took it for a cabbage leaf and broke the chandelier. Out went the gas, and then it came alight again. Poor father's head, the donkey took a bite again. Mother took a knife and thought to stick it in the ass. Stuck it in my father's head and out went the gas. Ain't you mad you can't get at it? Mother sewed me drawers up